The
All
broadcast
right.
is live.
I think we are live.
Hello, world.
Here we
Hey, everyone.
go. What's going on, everybody? Who we got in here? Ryan, Cutthroat, MetaZoo Nation, Dean, Hasbar,
Metazool.
Metazool. There we go. All right.
Oh, Dean, what's up, guys? What's up, dudes? How y'all doing?
Oh, there we go. All right. So this is being streamed live right now over TCG Island Facebook page, the MetaZoo Island Facebook page, and as well as Turmentic's YouTube channel. I see a year. I'm assuming that Facebook user is Brandon. All right.
Oh, okay. So I wonder if he's not going to tell us because we can
it's
see
not
the
gonna
comments
say who
coming
the
through.
user is. Oh, well, there we
Okay.
go. We see rivals. Okay. Let some people get in here. But all right.
He had to open it up in 4 different places. I love you, Tuffy. That's right. Get those view hours. Get those view hours.
There we go.
Leslie, what's up? I see Wayward's the caster just jumped in. Hey, it's Dawn. Nice. Yeah, nice. Welcome, guys.
All right. So the whole purpose of this tonight, just to let you guys know, this is going to be more like just a casual interview. This isn't anything. We're going to kind of just be hanging back. That echo was real. I hope there's no echo. But so what we're going to be doing is just basically having a casual interview. Going to be talking about different things like what got us into MetaZoo, where we see the future of MetaZoo. Both of these guys are amazing content creators. So I want to ask them a couple questions about where that creativity comes from, where they get these ideas from. So, yeah, but again, it will be interacting with the chat here and there. So keep the comments coming, guys. So, but my name's Mike, better known as CNO. I'm a MetaZoo partner, the owner of TCG Island. We have Turmentic, and we also have Ian with Cryptid Nation News.
How's it going, everyone?
First, I want to say congrats to Turmentic. He passed his MZO. Got the announcement today. For those of you who do not know, the MZO is the metazoologist exam. It allows you to be an apprentice, basically a beginner judge for smaller tournaments and sanctioned events that can actually still qualify for the MPN.
I'm stoked. I'm so excited about it. So excited.
And Ian also got something very nice in the mail today.
I did. I got my content creator medal.
Congrats.
Very cool.
That's huge.
Thanks to Turmentic. He asked about it in a MetaZoo hour a few weeks ago. So
you deserve it, my man. You've done so much for the community, like everything. You deserve it so well, so much, so deserved.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was awesome. So let's get into it, man. So Rob, Turmentic, the lore is life. What inspired you to start digging into these? Like you took it to like another level, man. I've never seen anybody, really dissect the lore like the way that you do, and the way that you can just paint a picture of it is phenomenal, man. And it's so awesome to just, I feel like you're the best history teacher I've ever had in my life. It's the best way I can put it. But what inspires you, man? What gets you to that?
I've always been fascinated with like old history, conspiracy theories, things like that. I've always found them fascinating. And I have a background in theater. I did theater and film for about 10 or 12 years before I met my wife. And I wanted to work on the TV show. I've been very vocal about that. That's been my whole drive, is I want to work on the MetaZoo TV show. I fell in love with the story after reading the comics, and I went on YouTube because one of my favorite YouTubers is a guy named Comic Storian. He takes full-fledged Marvel and DC arcs, and he condenses them down to small little bits for you to digest in small bits in order to understand the story. And I looked all over YouTube in order to try to find something similar about the MetaZoo, because at that point, I think they were like 4 of the 6 comics were released. And I couldn't find anything. The only thing I could really find were people speed reading them. And I was like, well, this needs to get out there. People need to know about this story, because investment in the characters will bring longevity to the full franchise, like completely. And it's like one of my slogans I've been saying the last couple of months. And it's so weird. It's so weird trying to explain it to people, but they make themselves in essence. I mean, yeah, I have to edit, I have to do stuff, I have to put stuff together, but every video I've made, the Cryptid Theory, the Cryptid Collection, the actual comic videos, all of them just make themselves, if that makes sense. When it comes to the lore and when it comes to actually the research, I'm that guy that would stay up late and go down a really weird wiki like thread, if you will. I can't remember what the term is. And so I've just been really good at trying to see patterns and look at why those patterns are there, and then it just kind of brings me to the next level, if that makes sense. I don't know. I love looking up stuff, and sometimes I feel in my theories and stuff, I actually give out too much info, but it's like, well, this little tiny 20-second clip of whatever this is will add a little bit extra to why this particular event or this particular piece of lore is so important. And see, I'm doing it again. I'm very long-winded. I apologize. I'm sorry.
No. Hey, there have been many times where you've released a video and you'll send it to me and I'll watch it. And then I remember I watched one video one time, and it was I think it's your longest one. It's about 30 minutes long. And I watched it from start to finish. And by the end of it, I was like, how in the world did he come up with that?
It was the King Arthur one, because you called me. You called me afterwards. And we're like, how? And
anybody that's watching this, if you have not watched the video where he compares King Arthur lore, it is phenomenal, man. I was so impressed, and I even told him, I said, dude, you have a gift. Like, you're gifted. So kudos to you, man. But Ian, Cryptid Nation news, Discord regular, man. I see anytime I pop into Discord, Ian's up in there. Same with Turmentic, always going. I know Hasbar too. I see him in the chat. He's definitely a regular up in there. MetaZool as well. But what got you? What do you like the most about doing content and stuff like that? Because I know MetaZoo will drop certain things, and you have a video out like that about something. So it's
I'm not the quickest, but I also don't try to be, because last year I did try to be, and it burnt me out. Because all the editing that I do, the details that I do with the green screen and all that,
the quality,
it's not quick. Yeah, the quality. I want to focus on quality over kind of getting things out immediately. So I was in a really bad spot with burnout last year when I was trying to be the first to the punch and do the quality. So my channel's more built around, okay, let's do weekly updates. Let's focus on the casual MetaZoo person, right? Let's make it so it's easy to, okay, once a week, here's your drop. This is what's been going on for the last week. This is what you have to look forward to this week, or new people coming in, right? So yeah, I don't try to be as fast as possible, but more just kind of make it easy to kind of keep track on a weekly basis. But what got me into it, it was November of 2021. Yeah, November 2021. Pandemic, hadn't really been seeing anyone, and just kind of decided, well, I wanted to start doing something new. I had all this time, right? I wasn't going to game stores, and I used to be a tabletop gamer. We had a group that was doing World War II tabletop. We did some fantasy game called Frostgrave. So this was actually kind of a shift for me as well. I hadn't collected TCGs since I was a kid. So I started with Pokemon because obviously that's what I collected as a kid. But the area is so saturated in YouTube that you can't really get a foothold. And I kept seeing MetaZoo pop up in my Facebook feed. And at first I was like, okay, yeah, it's something new, but I'm doing Pokemon. And I kept seeing it pop up over and over again. I was like, okay, that looks interesting. Let's take a look at it. And I think when it really first hit me that I wanted to start covering MetaZoo was the first MetaZoo hour I attended. Seeing the community involvement, seeing how the community interacted, seeing how Mike and Andy interacted with everybody else, answered questions. I thought it was awesome. So that really what dragged me in. The community has always been amazing and supportive. And, look at all the people we have here today, So that's really why I jumped into it. It wasn't even necessarily the game or the cards or the lore. It was the people.
That's awesome. Yeah. I remember somebody brought up MetaZoo at one point, and just a little background for those that don't know. We had a Facebook group called Pokey Island, and MetaZoo came out, and we do a lot of rip and shipping. It's a buy and sell trade group, and Pokemon kind of stopped, and MetaZoo took over, and that was honestly the whole reason of the name change to TCG Island was because of MetaZoo only. It was mainly because of MetaZoo, but I don't know what it is about it, but there was just something, and it happened to everyone. Like their first pack, as soon as they got their first pack ripped, you were hooked on MetaZoo. I think Rob or Turmentic can vouch for the amount of Cryptid Nation First Edition that was opened on then Pokey Island, right?
I was just about to say, like, a lot of people don't understand that TCG Island and MetaZoo Island actually started out as Pokey Island back in the day. And I randomly came across that group, I think it was like August, it was like it was like July or August of 2021. And all of like most of my really good friends that I've known for a while now come from Pokey Island in like the MetaZoo community, because MetaZoo took over, and it was ridiculous how quickly it replaced the Pokemon streams. Like you'd have people who had Pokemon to rip, and they'd be like, "Oh no, let's get some of that Cryptid Nation 1." Like I cannot tell you how many booster boxes we ripped. And then that's what actually, like he said, kind of turned it to TCG Island was MetaZoo, really.
Yeah, I didn't want to get rid of the Pokemon following, because that's what it was built on. But the page shifted, and I had to eventually. Now we have MetaZoo Island because it's such a large presence. We need our own group for it. So it's just MetaZoo has me for life, that's for sure. It
was getting too loud. Okay,
real, man.
I turned it off. I was trying to put music on, it didn't work. I'm messing things up.
Ian, when did you rip your first Cryptid Nation pack, or for your first MetaZoo pack in general?
It would have been first week of January last year, roughly. So it was Nightfall. It was loose packs that I had bought from an online store. My first hit was a reverse hollow Oklahoma octopus. I still remember that. But yeah, it was really nostalgic, and I think that's what hooked me as well, right? Because again, started with Pokemon. Okay. Everything's so modern. You got these full arts, you got these Vs, V stars, etc. So nobody cares about the hollows anymore, right? And I was like, okay, well, I still care. So in my videos that I was doing for Pokemon, I was still celebrating. I'm like, I don't care that you don't care. I'm going to celebrate these. So that's part of what got me hooked on opening was, okay, these are actually still special, and even the reverse hollows are special.
Yeah. Oh yeah. All right. So what? All right, Rob, you've been following Native. Like, that's the next set coming out, guys. Native. There is no official release date yet. I believe it's going to be sometime in April. But we do not have an official drop date yet. But there have been a lot of spoilers getting released, different things about like that. Rob recently was given a spoiler to give out on the Raven Mocker. You guys can go check that video out as well. He has that on his YouTube. But Rob, what are you most excited about Native right now? Or actually, can you give us a more of an explanation of like kind of what Native is going to be? Like, what is the
Native is going to be, in my opinion, because everybody's been asking me for a while now for the timeline bit, or at least what I think the timeline of MetaZoo is, because the comics only cover up to what I consider to be Nightfall. I think that Native is going to be another Wilderness set, where Wilderness was, in my opinion, all about Sam Sinclair learning new abilities, learning how to cast magic, if you will. Because you got to remember, at the end of chapter 6, Love asks Sam, hey, let me train you. Let me teach you. Give me 30 days. Let me actually show you what you need in order to be able to survive. And that's what I believe Wilderness is about. Native, I think, is the same thing. I think that Sam and crew just suffered some sort of a defeat or a setback or something from the storyline of Seance. And in my opinion, I think they actually are escaping whatever is taking place on the East Coast where they're at. They're escaping through the pathways. And when they emerge out west. And pretty much at that point, that is when, again, Sam has to learn something or level up or find a beastie to contract or something to figure out some way of defeating whatever it is that's out east that they have to go back to. Because I'm convinced now that war takes place out east because of Mike saying in the last MetaZoo hour, the last cryptid that we actually see is Chessie. I've always assumed they left from the west coast to go to Yokai, but that it's huge if they actually do leave from the east coast, because they could go around the tip of South America. They could completely bypass that and go to the Cape of Africa. They could potentially maybe try to use the Panama Canal. Like, there's a lot of really interesting things they can do in order to get to Yokai if they leave from the East Coast, in my opinion. I mean, for all we know, too, they could be leaving from the East Coast. And yes, it's 7 seas, but see, I don't know. I was going to say maybe they could actually be in some sort of a flying contraption, but it's 7 seas. So they kind of have to be on the ship. I think Fireship of Bay de Chaleurs, one of my favorite cards from Seance, I think that's going to actually be some sort of a key something in 7 seas just because of the flavor text of it.
So I don't know if any of y'all just had the same effect that had on me, but like my brain was just like, like how do you
We're seeing this in action,
you know, like how you get so in depth, man, and it's unbelievable, dude.
I can't remember what the phrase is, but the phrase is the simplest solution is usually the most likely one. And so that's one of the reasons I try to keep all of the stuff I come up with simple and not super over convoluted, unless it's directly tied to the lore, like Lesser Key of Solomon and Solomon's Ring and all that stuff that is super convoluted, but it's tied directly to MetaZoo lore. Everything else I try to keep simple and to the point, because if not, you can't. It's just too many what ifs. But I mean, it's all what ifs, honestly. And it's ironic too, because when I started doing the videos, I started doing the comic videos, and it wasn't until 2 months of me making the comic videos that I even started doing the cryptid theory videos, or I even started doing the Sam's Cryptid Collection stuff. So like at the beginning, I didn't even envision doing any of these like other small, like other playlists, if you will, besides just the main comics. So and then I'd see I'm just long-winded. There was the whole reason why I kind of started calling myself the quote unquote like unofficial lore keeper of MetaZoo was I was reading an article middle of last summer, and it was talking about a real position at Disney, and it's called Keeper of the Holocron. And that person's job is literally to keep canonical memory of Star Wars. To where everything on the canon and everything that has to do with Star Wars, they literally are the person. They're like, oh, that's exactly why this person from this planet did that thing 300 years ago. And ever since then, that's kind of like what I've kind of envisioned. I've been trying to create for myself, I guess, is the keeper of the lore, the keeper of the MetaZoo lore, cryptids, and I don't know. It's again, like I said, long-winded. I need somebody else talk.
I think you're keeping that title. I mean, it's going to be a hard task for somebody to take that over, man.
So I do have a secret. It's kind of a secret. Andy just announced it in the announcements channel. I have been graced with a native spoiler, so we have
nice.
Show
Congratulations
during the stream.
Oh, I love Andy. I got a chance to talk with him. I only got to meet him once, but I got to meet him at the Collecticon in Charlotte. Actually, the first time I actually was ever interacted with any sort of MetaZoo staff at all. He super easy to talk to. I love that guy to death. And he some of the stuff that they've done over the last couple months under his and Mike's direction is astounding. It is crazy.
I got a chance to meet them both in Salem, which was an amazing time. So really happy that I was able to go to that, which is only an hour and a half from here. Andy specifically was running around a lot that day, just kind of getting stuff set up and keeping track of everything. So it's a really fun time.
I wanted to go to Salem so bad, but I couldn't because of Rocky Horror. I do community theater with my local community theater, and we did Rocky Horror, and it's always been a dream of mine to play Riff Raff, and so I got to play Riff Raff, and it just so happened our last performance week was the week of Salem. So yeah.
There we go. All right.
No, I saw somebody asked where Turmentic came from. I think it was Wayward Caster. Oddly enough, Turmentic came from playing World of Warcraft. I used to play World of Warcraft in the early 2000s, and I had created a warlock, and I kept dying, and so his name was Tree Mentor, and I wanted to keep that same kind of like idea going. So I created a priest because I wanted to be able to heal myself, and came up with Turmentic from Tree Mentor. So that's where Turmentic, and it just kind of stuck. I've kept it for everything I've pretty much done since 2003, 2004.
Nice.
I always wondered, and I never asked. I'm glad somebody did.
Everybody always thinks it's because I like the spice turmeric, and I'm like, no.
We all think of you when we're cooking.
I'm in everybody's spice cabinet, and it's scary.
So what's going on with this spoiler? The chat's going crazy about it.
I'll leave it up to you when you want to show it. I sent it to you in our Facebook chat, since you can put it on the overlay much larger than I can do. Otherwise, if that doesn't work, I can change my screen to show it.
Let's see here.
Spicy, that's right, MetaZoo. Yeah, iOS always it always autocorrects you to turmeric. I know it happens all the time.
Wow, just as a new player too. Let me tell you, like this is cool.
Oh, I'm excited. I haven't seen this yet.
No, you're gonna have to give me a minute though. But
you kind of have.
We got. Let's see.
Pancho, what's up, my man? How are you today?
There
or tonight,
go.
I guess now.
All right. I don't know how to bring that in here. So
all right, I can show it on my screen.
You may just have to show it on your screen.
Okay, here we go. Hasmar had a question.
My first live stream, everyone. I'm sorry.
It is actually his first live stream, very ironically. Hasmar wants to know, what is our favorite beastie, and is there a cryptid you're hoping to see added to the MetaZoo roster? Ooh, okay, I'll let you go first, Ian.
Favorite MetaZoo beastie, and one that we're hoping to see added. You had to ask me when I was distracted trying to get the spoiler up. Let's see. Favorite beastie. It's hard. There's so many. It's not even like I'm not trying to stall. There are really so many. From Mothman, which is kind of feels like a cop out to say, but Wood Devil of Coas County is my local, so that one's kind of special to me. I really like Tahoe Tessie just because of the story behind it, of how the card was created and everything there. So I'm gonna go with Tahoe Tessie. It's my favorite. For one that we haven't seen, honestly, I'm relatively new to the cryptid world with MetaZoo, so most of the time I am introduced to them as sets come out. I haven't seen. I know with the ambassador cards there is Loch Ness Monster. I'd like to get my hands on a Nessie someday. I don't think those are in the wild yet, right, Nessie?
I don't think so. All right, so my favorite one, honestly, I didn't have a favorite one for the longest time, but for some reason, I think it's just because I've been staring at it for the last 6 months now. Cumberland Dragon is my favorite, and it's most likely due, like I said, due to my PFP. I honestly didn't really have any favorites, and then I got that PFP, and that PFP has kind of just become my image. Get out!
No, it added it in the wrong spot.
I saw it for a second. Okay, I'm
That wasn't enough time to
behind my
screenshot.
scene.
Oh my God, let's go. All right, so I just got really stoked. Okay, so yeah, Cumberland Dragon would probably have to be my favorite. One we haven't seen yet. That's a hard one. Because again, like you, and I honestly, I know this is going to get a lot of people. This might upset a lot of people. I honestly did not know a lot about cryptids and cryptozoology until middle of last year. I don't know. I knew the big ones, like Bigfoot, Mothman, things like that. But I didn't know there was so much cryptid lore out there. Like there literally was a monster for every holler, if you will. And there's so much information. My favorite things, honestly, is finding the very vague cryptids where there's like nothing about them, and you have to literally dig in order to find like random little stories and stuff. So anyway, just I don't have a very extensive cryptid background. Nothing like my favorite person, D.
Who's very disappointed in us right now.
I know, right? Honestly, if I had to pick one to come, I would love to see a Blackbeard representation card. I'm from the Outer Banks in North Carolina. Blackbeard is literally part of my personal lore here on the island. I'd love to see a Blackbeard card. And I'm a huge Lovecraft fan, so I want to see a Cthulhu card at some point. Like, even if it's unplayable, I don't care. I want to see a MetaZoo Cthulhu card.
I feel like there was a hint around this time last year of a possible Lovecraftian set, and I don't know if it was a joke or if it was.
I know.
Some of it is public domain, not all of it, but some
not
of it
all.
is public domain.
And the thing is, though, and MetaZoo is really brilliant about this too, is that they can even parts of things can fit the MetaZoo lore that don't have to be the exact copy of what it is. Think of like SCP and the Foundation, for example. Like that's probably one of my favorite videos I made, because if you think about it, the Foundation could honestly have been the way for non-magical humans with the veil in place to contain all of these magical entities, all of these otherworldly entities that we had no proper way of controlling because casters didn't exist except for evergreens. So like taking things like that and incorporating it into the MetaZoo story at large expands the universe so much, because it incorporates so many different things that people just never would have associated and put them all together in one thing. And that's the beauty of MetaZoo. That's one of the reasons why I've advocated so much for this game, as because there's so much there, and there's so much potential for even more. That's just yeah. Yep. So again, say, man, I'm gonna take a sip.
You did good, man.
I did it again. I'm gonna start timing myself.
See, my favorites changed. Like, so I actually started out with an artifact as my favorite card was a Chaos Crystal. As soon as I saw the Chaos Crystal, and this was before I knew how powerful of a card it is for gameplay. This is before I knew anything about it. It was just the artwork, and there was something about it. And I was like, there's something special about that card. I don't know what it is, but you could just tell there was something about it. And Power Up Red as well. So at Emerald City Comic Con, I met Poncho was up there. And even Poncho asked me what was my favorite Obnoxious 9, because I gave him a 9 card. You've seen it, Rob. It's all the obnoxious 9s in a 9-card holder Ultra Pro, basically screw on that holds all the cards, and he autographed right over the Power Up Red. Still have it. I'll never get rid of that thing. But now, as of now, favorite beastie, Akanto, right there.
Oh yeah. As soon as Wilderness hit, man, it was like overnight. I'm not even kidding you. He was like, "Oh nope, that's mine now."
I saw it as soon as I saw that card. I was like, I freaking love that thing, man. And I've had commissions done. I've had all kinds of stuff done, all involving Akanto. I actually have a new TCG Island logo with Akanto holding the logo. So yeah, I'm all about. And then to add, I'm gonna have to go with Loch Ness Monster as well, just because when I was a kid, it was like, for me, I knew about Loch Ness Monster more. You know, it was almost like Bigfoot and Loch Ness Monster were on the same level, right? Like you kind of knew about those two the most, at a really young age too. You know, so those were, I can't wait to see that and actually, I mean, the closest thing to it in a sense is Chessie, and that was actually my first Kickstarter poll that I ever got too, man. So yeah, I'd love to see Loch Ness Monster.
You want to hear something sad? I've lived 45 minutes to an hour away from the Chesapeake Bay for the majority of my life, and it wasn't until MetaZoo Cryptid Nation 1 that I found out about Chessie. Dead face serious.
I feel like I've talked to a few people. They tell me where they're from, and they'd never heard of like their local cryptid. And then they'll ask like their friends in that area, like, "Oh yeah, you know," and then tell the backstory of it and whatnot.
Never heard of Chessie before, and I live 45 minutes to an hour away from it. It's just, what? There needs to be more cryptid knowledge out there for the people.
It does.
Rivals asked a good question. He was like, "How many main character casters do you think there will be in the end? Which beasties do you think will have the biggest impact on the storyline?" Honestly, there's no real way to tell, in my opinion, how many main casters there will be, because it's honestly endless. I mean, it's just, for example, just think of any of the shows, like think of Pokemon, for example. How many trainers did Ash actually meet? Like, that's the same thing kind of with this. Like, when Sam and company is going across Cryptid Nation, how many casters do you think he's actually going to meet? Everybody is a caster. Everybody can cast magic. Anyone can contract a beastie. Main character-wise, though, I mean, Adam, Sam, Rose, M, Love, Rainbow Wizard, I would say Morgana, Indrid Cold, are probably going to be the bigger characters. Give or take. And then big beastie wise, honestly, there's no way of knowing. Mothman, just because Mothman's the main antagonist. I'd say Dingbell is a big one, just because it's the first beastie that Sam actually contracts. But we have no idea what kind of beasties Rose contracted or Adam contracted. We don't have any idea of anything that M actually had ever contracted. Love can't contract beasties because he can't cast magic against them. Which is something that interesting, because I don't know if that's ever been actually talked about. Like, in the comic, it says that Love can't attack another beastie. So in essence, contracting a beastie is attacking it, in my opinion. So I don't think Love can actually contract other beasties because of the curse that he's under. I don't know. What do you got? You guys have anything you want to add to that?
I didn't think about it until kind of this question now, but thinking about, as you kind of brought up Pokemon and Ash, right? As he went to new places, Orange Islands, etc., there was always a swap of cast, right? So Brock dropped off. So, are we going to see Rose drop off? Are we going to see Love? See a whole new cast of characters in Yokai, see a whole new cast of characters in Grimm's Kingdom, in Underground World. And then, maybe they'll come back and be part of the story still, but there is the potential that we're going to be seeing a lot more yokai-based casters with Sam.
That's true. Yokai. It could just be Sam and M in yokai.
Yeah. And in terms of we're going into war, right?
Yeah.
In terms of making that feel powerful, people need to die, in my opinion.
That's actually something. The next Hero Quest video that I'm actually gonna put out actually talks about that and actually goes in depth on the pullet rings that I was talking about. How Sam had 4 and Hero has 5. Shout out to Fane actually for helping me with that because he actually has been huge with the Hero Quest stuff. But yeah, that's one of the things we were talking about actually was that somebody does have to die in war. And that's what kind of circling back to what we originally were talking about what Native is about. That again, that's what Native is all about, getting Sam to where he needs to be for war. And then he goes to war. And I honestly think that, yes, we've had some darker sets, if you will. We've had Nightfall, we've had Seance. I mean, some of the artwork in Seance is definitely a little PG-13. It's like 2 cards. Black Exorcism, I'm looking at you. Or Black Mass, that's what it is. I'm looking at you. Beautiful card, by the way. But War is going to be on a different level, I think. War is, I really, 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 in my heart, hope that in some of the artwork, they actually capture, I want them to actually capture what a beastie caster war would be. The only thing comparable to it, honestly, and this isn't even a good comparison, would be the final battle of Hogwarts, because it's the only big, large scale magical attack caster type ideal that you will battle between hundreds of different people that I feel War is going to be, because you got to remember the dark forces have amassed in the north, and that's, they talk about that in chapter 6. And then by the time War comes around, that's months to if not a year later. You have the entire army of Unity City under the command of the Rainbow Wizard. And then you just have every other Joe and Schmo caster that, because again, everybody can cast magic, that if they're literally threatened, they are getting attacked, they're going to fight back. So you could have hundreds, if not thousands of different casters fighting in this war for supremacy over Cryptid Nation. I still feel like the side of good is going to be forced to flee. I think that the dark forces are going to take over Cryptid Nation. But you're going to have your War. I want War to be an epic battle set, if that makes sense. Like,
and from what we heard, it's possibly the first set that's going to have multiple beasties like interacting with each other on a single card, right? Like fighting and right. I don't know if that's an old kind of MetaZoo Hour mention. I don't know if that's fully true. So.
That's actually kind of what you were just talking about. Dean actually just asked, do you think War might be the first set we see dual beastie cards? I don't think you could. I don't know how it would work on actually a card if it was a dual beastie. I know that Mike flat out said no double-sided cards, though. I think on like the last MetaZoo Hour, the one before last, I think. So I know we'll never actually get like flip cards like that. But it would be kind of interesting if they actually could do some sort of a dual beastie. I don't know how they would actually do that with the card space, though.
Yeah. So let's real quick. I mean, still haven't shown that native spoiler yet, have we?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I know a lot of the chat. Hey guys, whatever platform you're watching on right now, drop some tags. Let's get a bunch. We got 70 viewers right now. Let's get the numbers up. Ian with Cryptid Nation News is going to show that native spoiler, so you guys
this
can
is the most nervous I've been all night.
And oh yeah, we have a native spoiler, or Ian has a native spoiler.
Welcome to how I felt the entire day I was trying to promote the Ravenmacher one. I was so nervous, my guy. I was so nervous.
This is awesome. This is
pretty excited. So you have, I sent it to you, right, Turmentic?
I have not seen it, but let me.
I sent it in the Facebook chat if you want to take a look at it, just so you're primed to talk about it, because I know you've looked into it already.
Can you send it to me on Discord real quick?
No.
Gosh.
Yes.
Oh. This is actually how we talk to each other. I'm not even playing. Like this is Ann and I. Ann has become one of my like really good friends over the last like 7 months or so. He honestly, in my opinion, is the one that introduced me to the MetaZoo community, because he approached me and asked me if I'd do a question for his trivia, and that I feel was the first real introduction. So shout out to Ann. I love you. That Mike, I've been friends with you now for at least 2.5 years. You're an amazing dude. I love both of you. I love you. Much love.
Yep.
That was my PSA. All right, what is this?
While we're waiting, anybody that is a content creator out there, if you're doing, YouTube, if you're doing TikTok, whatever you're doing, if you want to do a trivia question on Crypto Nation News, do one every week to promote yourself. Basically, the idea is you kind of come on, introduce yourself, talk about your channel or whatever social platform that you're on, do the question, and then we kind of move on. But it gets, it's a way for the community or people that want to get started to get in front of my viewers, so they can hopefully get a jump start similar to Turmentic.
Ooh, that is awesome.
All right, are you ready?
Awesome.
Are we ready?
Oh yeah, 100%. I'm sorry.
Let's see it.
All right, let me find the window here. Turn it back on, and woo! I'm in the way. Wait, let me get out of the way. So we have the Winalagalis. I put an extra N in there. It's a beastie deity, 3 per spell book, 1 water, 3 dark, 80 LP. It's a trap with first strike, which is awesome. It has terra bonuses for nighttime and ocean. It's ocean, right? The shell?
Yeah.
Awesome. For the effect, you may contract this beastie anytime an opposing caster declares an attack to have this beastie become the primary defender this combat. That's amazing. On contract, it destroys an opposing beastie with first strike. Watch out, Quetzalcoatlus.
Yeah.
It has an attack called Invincible Assault, which does 30 damage. And if you're wearing fake blood, another target beastie you control gains immortal until the end of this battle. The attack has advantage against lightning. Again, watch out, Quetzalcoatlus. And being a water dark beastie, it is strong against light, spirit, earth, and fire. That's amazing.
That is a... I run a lightning deck, so
No, you don't.
I saw this and I was like, oh wow, okay, that's I won't like this one when I'm playing. So
that's amazing, and this is easy to splash into dark as well.
Yeah, it's water and dark. That's awesome. That is awesome. Yeah, back off my quets. That's what I'm saying. There we go.
Just because I'm going to throw it in there, it is also the war god of the Kwakwaka'wakw Native people of British Columbia.
Yeah,
he's literally a war god. That's why he's a beastie deity. Let's go. Ooh,
that is awesome.
That's awesome. That's
So, Rob, I know you've looked into this beastie before. Do you want to kind of give a high level, if you remember?
He is, in essence, he's a different form of a Sisidal. The Sisidal was the beastie that has like the 2 heads and then the one humanoid head in the center. It was saying that he is associated with a magical war canoe, and it's usually described as made of copper, a Sisidal. It's invisible. It's able to travel underground, and he is permanently fused with the boat. So there is no separation of Winalagalis with the canoe itself. He is literally the canoe, but he's not stopped by water because, again, he can literally travel underground as that canoe. And so, yeah, he was a war god. So that's awesome. That's so beautiful. That's why you can actually see on the back of it too. You actually see the other half of the Sisidal. Is because of the canoe.
Did you want to read the flavor text? I know you love the flavor text.
Hello, yeah, of course. Of course I mess it up. Look at me. Winalagalis from Kwakwala, the Kwakwaka'wakw peoples. Whistles and Bull Roars announce his arrival as he comes from the North Underworld, traveling on a magical war canoe. There, I got it in at the end.
It was unexpected. And this was illustrated by Lily, who is one of my personal favorite artists on the team.
I want to point out, too, and this is the first time I'm noticing this, honestly. I didn't notice. I need to go back and look at the Ravenmacher picture. But look at the top with the actual triangles, if you will. And then if you look along the side of the right where it has like the blue images, and then on the bottom as well, it has all of the blue and the gray. Do you see that? Yeah, that I'm wondering if that might be some sort of art indicative to one of the native tribes. Because remember, 33 native tribes are actually represented in native. And that just seems interesting. I'm looking. I don't know. That's just it's very.
I wouldn't doubt it. With the amount of thought they put into.
Well, I'm just looking at other cards, and for the most part, they usually seem to be not really shapes, if you will, more just colors or images and stuff like that, not literal triangles. So that's kind of cool. Just first look at the card. Oh, that's beautiful. That's so beautiful. All right, so
shout out to Lily. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
See if we got any more
it's amazing.
Questions here real quick. So hey, Mike, do you have any what's your next question you have for the two of us?
You know, I'm really surprised we didn't get into this earlier, man, but the water tower. Just towers in general. Caster's Cup, like we didn't. I mean, I know they just had the signups 2 days ago on the 28th, and we're still waiting confirmation to see who got it. There's 128 slots. You know, I went and did a qualifier myself. I signed up as well, so I hopefully got a spot. I do want to play. This will be my first TCG tournament in person ever. I've done the Caster Society held a tournament, and as well as Metaversity held their New Year's tournament. So those are and they were both online. So this will be my first in person, and I'm pretty stoked for it. I know
it'll be a fun time.
What about Rob? Are you gonna be there? Ian?
Well, I'm gonna be there. Like I qualified and I tried to register, so I'm still waiting on the email to see if I actually get to compete or not. I'm going to be there regardless, though, because D, the storyteller, is actually going to be presenting. They're one of the highlighters of the actual event itself. So anybody that's on the fence about going, definitely go just to listen to D. That's the whole reason I'm going, is to support and listen to D. So I'll be there regardless. But I really, really want to actually compete in this water tower because it is just like Caster's Cup last year was history. This is history as well. The towers, in my opinion, are such a unique idea, especially since this year they're fluid. Like the locations, I honestly think the only locations that are going to be set in stone are Loveland. I believe Hodag with Forest is probably pretty accurate. And Mothman might be Point Pleasant, but I'm not. Dark might be the Mothman Festival at Point Pleasant, but I'm not sure about that one. All the other ones, though, I kind of feel like they're fluid for this year. That's why we still are missing the other three auras as well. But it's the foundation and the beginning of something I think that's going to literally revolutionize TCGs. I keep telling everybody, like, you imagine how much money I would have spent in my younger days if I could have traveled around the country to compete at Pokemon gyms to get badges? I'm not even kidding you. I would have spent all of my money. So now the fact that I am older and I can do it, but with MetaZoo and their towers, let's go. Like, especially
you waited
with the
until
whole,
you had the money,
right? Especially with the overall idea that each tower is catered to a specific aura. And each tower will be decorated a specific way. I actually am one of the people that actually really like the idea of the 60% aura of that tower, because from a lore perspective, the towers were a place where you went to go and train for that specific aura. Honestly, in my opinion, it should be just that aura color and neutral. But I get why that there would be a lot of mirror matches. Maybe in a couple years when we actually have more sets, especially after we have like a focused water set, like I'm pretty sure 7 Seas probably will be. We can move to that transition, but I love the idea of it being mostly the aura of that tower. Like, and again, that's mostly from a lore perspective. I lost my mind when water was announced for Loveland, because traditionally the water tower is from Dayton, Ohio. So let's go. I'm stoked. Anytime they do a lore centric thing in the physical world, real world, our world, it's so weird because you MetaZoo, real world, fake world, Veil world. Anytime they do anything like that, it carries over from the story to the real world, though. Like the water tower, I'm all about. I'm stoked because it literally again cements that world and existing within our world, if you will, like our real world. So that's
I think it gives it makes a lot of what's that?
He said it's very meta.
It again, as a new player, right? And I play Lightning, and so jumping into water was like just because now you know it makes you focus on another aura type, so you can kind of see what is out there, because you know you can have spells of other aura types, and a lot of the things really boil down to what you have to read the cards. I mean, every time you play a game, you know, or you play against somebody you've never played against, and they have the way their spell book is built, and they do things that you never saw coming, and you're like, oh wow, I need to try to either incorporate that into my deck, or I need to have something in my archive to make sure that, you know, I can take care of that if that pops up in a, you know, in a 3-game match, right? So there's a lot of things that, you know, I love a challenge. And so, and it's not even so much the challenge aspect. It's more of like the strategy, with how strategic you can build a deck. And now when you get into water, I tried to incorporate like other beasties of other aura types. And it was so hard. Like, it's so difficult, but it makes you focus more on it. But I bet you there's ways you can tweak your deck. I mean, you're going to end up with a little bit more cards. And me personally, I've been taught, you know, by some pretty good players, you know, that told me, you know, you want as close to 40 as possible, right? Minimum cards is 40, and that's for the most part, you kind of want to be close to that so you can draw those cards that you need. So, but yeah, it's I'm excited for Water Tower. It's been you just learn different things, and I loved, and even when you know certain things from playing better players, and then you use that strategy on somebody else, they're like, "Are you kidding me?" And it's all like, it's a fun game, man. I'm sure.
Well, there's
a lot of possibilities.
That's what I was about to say. Is that the crazy thing is about MetaZoo and them not getting rid of certain cards or not having a standard rotation, is that every time a new set, whether it's a standalone bait like main core set, or if it's something like Christmas or Valentine's, it always adds something, because eventually one card is going to completely click with another card and no one's going to see it but that one person, and they're going to sweep. And that's what I love about this game, is there are hundreds of combinations that we still have not seen with current cards that can dominate the meta, I think. And we get so focused on a couple, or like a couple different strategies, to where we stop looking at those. And that's what I love about new players, is they come in fresh and they're like, oh, well, what about if this and this? Like, we add that, and people are like, what? It's I love it. I love everything about it.
It's funny because I'm the kind of player that it's like, oh, a new set's out, new shiny, I'm going to build a deck with the new shiny cards, and then I don't go back and think about it until someone's like, hey, have you thought about incorporating this card into your deck? No, they haven't. More recently with Seance, with the Karen, someone has suggested going back and using Stone Man to protect the cairn. It's like I never even thought to kind of go back and even look at how I could protect my cairns better. But I love cairns.
But yeah, even with like the water tower, right? Like what the prize pool, right? Let's just like kind of dip into the prize pool a little bit, right? First place is what, and I don't even have this information up in front of me, but I believe it's 20K for first place, cash prize, 30,000 in MetaZoo product, sealed product, a ton of other things as well. And I believe also that your entire trip is actually covered as well.
First, second, and third, I think, actually get reimbursed. And
yes.
I made a point in my video, my breakdown. I think you did too, Ian, about like if you're competing, save your receipts. If you want to be reimbursed, coming from somebody who's had to deal with it before, if you want to be reimbursed, save your receipts. It will make it way easier than having to print your entire bank statement and highlight stuff and send it to them. And save your receipts and save every receipt, because if they can't use it, they'll tell you they're not going to count it towards it. But just save everything. That's my PSA for the evening.
No, it's a great idea. I never even thought about. First of all, I'm not competing. Water isn't kind of my style, and I'm the only MZO in my area until, well, I guess not today, but the last MZO exam. My tournament organizer became an MZO, so
nice, congrats!
Qualify for future towers pretty easy. So I helped my local crew qualify for the water tower. But you know that's actually amazing advice there, is to kind of keep your receipts, because you're right, the top three are all covered. I have it in front of me.
I mean, the top 32 get a prize. There's 32, 32. So just getting the top 32 and you're walking away with something. And honestly,
well, the thing is, all 128, as far as I'm aware, all 128 are going to get something. I'm speaking hypothetically here. For anybody that is listening, I do not know if any of this is actually accurate, so please do not take this. I'm just wanted to stress that. The jerseys, they showed the jerseys. I'm assuming that all 128 are probably going to get at least the basic jersey. I'm assuming that all 128 are going to get at least minimum one players pack. I know last year they gave out the lanyard, so most likely maybe a lanyard. I just wanted to stress that everyone that participates, I believe, is going to get something. It's just the top 32 get amazing stuff. Oh my god!
Amazing things and cash.
I was more referencing the cash prizes. So we got 20,000 for first place, 10,000 for second, 5,000 for third, 1,000 for fourth through eighth, and 500 9th through 32nd place. And that's just the cash portion. Then there's MetaZoo product, travel expenses. There's merch, hat, jersey, promos, playmats. I mean, it's and on top of it, MetaZoo, with it starting, pandemic time, a lot of us all met each other online, right? So going to these events and things like that, you actually get to meet a lot of these people, and it's just like you're just friends. Like it's like I don't know, it's different. I've met a bunch of people already at different events, and it's once we got Alan in the chat.
Alan,
serialized rares are real. I do that every time you type that in chat, Alan. I say that out loud, so I had to say it at least once where you actually heard it.
MetaZooSR.com. Make sure y'all check it out so you guys can follow all the serialized rares and secret rares.
And don't forget that there are serialized rares and secret rares
I'll pin it
still trapped out there, and it is your responsibility to find them.
We have not seen 4 of the UFO ones yet.
That's ridiculous.
That is crazy to me. We have not seen 4 of the Majestic 12 space rares, the Space 12. Like I want to see the other Zodiacs. I really want to see Headless Mike as Leo so bad. Headless Mike the chicken.
I really hope that the Headless Mike all art is just the head.
Oh my god, I never thought of that.
It's just the
That's very meta there. That's very meta there, Ann.
Oh man,
I never thought of that. That's brilliant, though.
But yeah, I mean, I just can't. There's always something. There's always something, you know, with MetaZoo, man. There's always something that just I don't know. Everything grabs you, man. Everything grabs me. What about the little teaser they dropped about the arcade games? You know, things like that. Just there's always something. There's always something. So
I did want to say something though about the tower though before we move on. In my heart of heart, I honestly really feel that the water tower, and this again might be controversial. The water tower, I think, was going to be the easiest tower to enter. I think moving forward after the water tower event and actually seeing everything go off the way that it's going to, like the prize support that they're going to have, the turnout, not at just the festival, but for the actual event too. I think that's going to drive a lot more people to start playing, to get qualified, to try to go to these other events. I think the other towers are going to be way harder to get into. I think Mothman I think the Dark Tower at Mothman Festival is going to be literally the hardest tower to get into. I have that feeling. So I'm excited about towers.
I know people that flew out of their state to go to an LGS to play in a qualifier just to go to Ohio to play in the water tower.
I almost had to drive 4 hours away if I would have gotten lucky enough to actually find one that lived near me. I was willing to drive to Richmond to go and do one with. I was trying to organize something with Dad Hat from the Discord in Richmond, and I got lucky and found someone that was about 45 minutes away. But yeah, I was going to drive 3-4 hours to get qualified just to register.
Yep. I drove. Actually went about an hour and a half up north. I met MetaZool. MetaZool up there. Jake Murray, met him up there too. I think saw you guys in the chat. Let me see. But yeah, I mean, it's, you know, like I said, I mean, first TC, I just see the change in the way people are looking at MetaZoo. Even me, like I literally had to go into my bulk and like go through my bulk card by card. I'm like, oh my God, that's an awesome card. Oh my God, that's an awesome card. Oh, that's a good one. Like, somebody's gonna need this one. Yeah, just, and now it's like, and now my wife can understand why I held on to all that bulk for so long. So
yeah, that's really the wonderful thing with the towers. That's really the wonderful thing with the towers, though, is it's forcing you to get out of your comfort zone and to look at these cards and if you want to participate in all of them, because I do think there's going to be some that, you know, can't go to all of them or can't go to multiple, so they're going to focus on the aura type that they're good at, right? But I do think that we're going to see a handful of people try to do as many as they can, but you know, those handful might be really good at lightning. Looking at you, Medikai. Right, so you know, might be looking at different kind of combinations, different aura types that they haven't necessarily considered before because their comfort zone was always lightning. I don't know if that's true about Medikai. His comfort zone is always lightning. That's a very bold statement. Fake news.
No, I mean that makes perfect sense. I can think of a handful of people that I know that weren't trying to do the water tower because they're like, I don't play water. I don't really want to play water, so I'm not going to do this. So I'm going to focus on Hodag and May. And so, I 100% agree with that. But again, I think once everybody sees how the water tower event is going to go off, though, like I keep saying, I think there's going to be a huge drive, and there'll be an uptick of people that like, well, I don't play fire, but you know what? I'm gonna give it a shot because I bet I could do something because I really like this card right here, and I think I can actually maybe try to do something. Because the beauty of only using one aura or like limited, basically what they did was they limited it to one aura in essence, and the beauty of that is that it requires you to completely reevaluate because we've gotten so used to now having dual aura decks. because of UFO and because of Seance, specifically because of Seance, because of some of the cards that came in that will dual auras. So we've gotten used to that. And it's really nice. Like I said, going back to the lore, each tower being that specific aura type, I really like that it's very focused on that. And so I don't know. I can see it kind of both ways. But I think later this summer.
Think about Caster's Cup, though. Think about so imagine if a player, right, went to every single tower and played in every tower. That means that they had to really dig into each of those aura types. So now at Caster's Cup, whatever deck they're going against, they're going to know or have an idea of what kind of damage that person can do with that type of deck, or how their deck can work against it. So I mean, I think Caster's Cup will be so crazy competitive after.
Well, now here's the thing, though. No, I want to pause you real quick. Caster's Cup will be crazy because we will have Seance, Native, War that will all have dual auras. That will have all dual beasties. War and Native are going to have the dual auras most likely, and depending on when Caster's Cup falls, SCP might be mixed in it too.
Oh, I can't wait for that.
And that's not counting any of the extra bonus stuff that they drop throughout the year or anything. So the meta, what we see now, it's going to be complete. I honestly think Caster's Cup will see viable 3-4 aura color decks. Somebody actually asked, how do you think dual auras will affect towers after Native launches? And honestly, I think that is one of the missing pieces that's going to really ignite a lot of the decks in these tower events. Because if you can have and that's the interesting thing though, is that all of them are going to be Earth something. So if you use the fusion or the dual auras, then you'll have to always have Earth, whatever the other one is. Unless it's the second tower, which is the Earth tower itself, and then you'd have your run of the mill. So I don't know. I can see how they could actually help, but at the same time, they're still going to be honestly limited because we're only going to have the Earth and whatever other aura it is. So if it is the Lightning Tower, it's going to be Lightning and Earth. There's not going to be a Lightning and Spirit or a Lightning and Water, like dual fusion aura in essence.
I don't know, man. Yeah. Just playing with water already has already shown me, like, because I remember when I first started playing, actually, and that's still not that long ago, but I remember the first time I actually went against a Frogman, and they had 4 beasties, and they had a Frogman out. I took out all 3 of the other beasties and did not take out the frog.
No.
And then right after I was done, I was like, oh yeah, I messed up. And boat Quetzal was gone. I think I used multiple lightning in a bottles too to keep attacking. And so now I know, if that frog comes out, that thing needs to go ASAP. That's got to go. So, but
the first person I ever played against water with was Rob. That was when I learned how much of a pain Wallowa Lake Crustacean and Frogman were. Destroyed me.
You can thank Metakai. Metakai, actually, it was funny. I met him at Collecticon in Charlotte, and super awesome, amazing dude. And he actually trained me. He taught me how to play over Facebook Live, like our Facebook FaceTime. And we played a couple matches that I used, I think, my Father Time theme deck. And Metakai actually taught me how to play. Love that guy. Dylan's awesome.
Yeah, he took second place at the Casters Cup, didn't he? Yeah.
Second place at Casters Cup.
Second place.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's a good guy, man. Definitely a good guy.
Dean's like rookie move, CNO.
What's that? I know. I even put it on the screen. Thanks, Dean. Hey, MZN Dean is the MetaZoo partner out in Australia. For anybody in the chat that doesn't know,
anybody in Australia that's watching this,
man. Killer job. Dylan is a legend, absolutely. Dylan is also a MetaZoo partner, so There's a lot of good partners out there. A lot of good partners in there. And if I see you pop up in the chat, I'll give you a shout out. But yeah, there's yeah, I mean, as far as the water tower goes, that's I'm not expecting, to come. I'm not expecting to win if I end up.
No, it's mine. That tower is mine. If I actually get on that registered list, that I am gonna be that tower caster, headcaster. You're looking at it right now. Water, let's go. I don't even like Ohio, but I'll go to Ohio to be the headcaster of the water tower.
Let's see it. Let's see it. Make sure to smash that. Absolutely, right here, guys.
Harley, oh, I love you, Harley. Thank you, buddy.
Harley.
If you guys aren't following Turmentic on YouTube, make sure you give him a follow. He's almost at 1,000 subscribers. He needs to get there. So close. So close. So if you're on Facebook, wherever you're watching, please make sure you check that out. For real. And also, you're primarily on Instagram, right, Ian?
No, YouTube.
Oh no, YouTube.
YouTube as well.
YouTube, primarily YouTube. I've recently started, doing short clips and whatnot, bringing stuff over to TikTok.
That's where I see. Yeah,
Instagram
I see it.
and whatnot.
Hold on.
So what you're telling me is you're not subscribed on YouTube?
Oh, busted.
Man. I'm going to check.
Well,
okay.
it's because you post all the videos on the MetaZoo Island Facebook group. So
I will.
Oh yeah.
I will tell you guys, running multiple Facebook groups, Discord, TikTok, Instagram, just we're doing a lot of work with Metaversity right now with some of the tournaments, and they got a lot of cool stuff going on. There's a lot. I try to follow everybody, but I swear I'm following you and I'm pulling it up.
There are so many great people in this community, man. It is hard to keep up with everything.
Absolutely phenomenal. The MetaZoo Discord, that is, and I want to give a shout out to MetaZoo and Alan. When I first joined into the Discord and I was just getting familiar with how it even worked. And there's a change to it, whenever you're on Facebook or Instagram or whatever platform you're on, you get on Discord. It's kind of a different, feel. And man, they made me feel so welcome. They made me, they were always saying hi when I would pop in. Fane, he's awesome too, man. Like we got in the beginning, definitely MetaZoo, Hasbar, and Alan. Those three guys, man. You guys are awesome. For real. Just want to give you guys a shout out.
I can't tell you how much MetaZoo has actually done for me personally for the channel. My guy actually did a giveaway back in December to help me actually try to get subs, and he gave away copies of the comic. He gave away cards. Like MetaZoo, dude's amazing. Dude, he makes the best reels on Instagram and TikTok too. I'm not even kidding you. Like, go and watch some of his reels. They're amazing. They're amazing. They're just amazing. I'm not even exaggerating either. Like, I just don't have anything else. Like, he takes literal clips of everything and puts them together and works it, and they're amazing.
He did one on Infinite Power recently, and it's trippy, and I love it.
Every single one of them.
We got Water Daddies going on.
No.
What was that? Who's the Water Daddy?
Hey man, the Water Babies are in my deck. Water Babies are in my deck.
Pulled a frog band. That one jumped up, man.
I did see a few people asking about the spoilers. Some people had missed it. I'll just put it up on the screen again for a little bit.
All right, let's see that thing.
And I did post this in the MetaZoo Discord for easy access.
Look at that beauty.
Anybody else in chat have any other questions or anything for us? I know we have a couple. I think we got at least one or two more things we wanted to talk about, but
I also want to give a quick shout out to all the admins and mods over on TCG Island and MetaZoo Island, first of all, because it's so much that there's no way I could have done anything, made the amount of activity that goes on and everything, that all the ideas and a lot of the stuff that gets formulated, and a lot of these guys push me, you know. So huge shout out to Michael Lara, huge shout out to Coulter, huge shout out to Brandon Bell, shout out to Stephen Glover, shout out, you know, a previous mod, Jake Murray, Turmentic. You're an admin over on MetaZoo Island as well. You know, everybody has thrown in a little bit, and I know even with your stuff, Rob, when you're the stuff you're working on and all the lore and different things that you talk about, I know you have a bunch of people that you work with on that kind of stuff too, or kind of, I would guess,
you know how many times I get a message at 2 o'clock in the morning? Hey Ian, can you check out this Love Than Frogman voice I'm working on?
Will you? Oh, dude, I
2 o'clock in the morning.
What do you want from me, my guy? I have children and they have to sleep, and I'm all the way in the basement when I can record.
I totally understand.
But no, he's not exaggerating either. I did that like 5 times. That doesn't even account the ones I'd send him throughout the day when I was trying to really like perfect the voice the first time.
Would he send you like different little shots? Like, how's this one sound? How's that one sound? With different pitches to the. You did that once. You sent me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I sent you both the same ones. Yes, I sent you to them, and I sent them to my friend Mick, telling me which one was the best.
No, it's wonderful though, because it's all that attention to detail and the strive to get it right that makes your content amazing.
What does the frog sound like? If you listen to the comic videos that I did for the MetaZoo comics, you can hear it. I could try to do it right now, but I don't know how actually on the spot how it's gonna sound, and it's really weird too.
If you could just read all of chapter 3 for us right now, that'd be great.
In order to actually get into it too, I have to number 2. I have to say that in order to actually get into it. Number 2. Now listen here, Sam. It's yeah.
There we go.
Right. Keep going.
You got to see it live.
The rest of the show.
Well, what else do you want? It does get hard after a while, just doing the voice. This is so weird.
Can you do a Gumbaroo voice?
I'm of the opinion that beasties don't talk because they're not supposed to. So Gumbaroo voice would be like some sort of a growl.
Chat, what beastie should Turmentic voice over right now? Let's do a on the spot.
I'm done.
You are.
Somebody asked me what my favorite book was. My favorite book is The Ear, the Eye, and the Arm. If you've never read it before, read it. It's amazing. The Ear, the Eye, and the Arm.
Man.
Okay, so what? Squonk? When? But the beasties don't. They don't.
You just gotta start crying. Just start crying right now.
Say anything. Squonk, I've always just imagined was just like squonk, but that doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. See them tears. I'm about to break into tears, MetaZoo. You ain't lying.
I'm legitimately in tears.
Lightning.
See,
Lightning.
We'll do the voice of Squonk in tandem. I'll do the voice Squonk. You can just do the tears. Predominantly, I play just water. MetaZoo. Leslie. I think you're cosmic mostly, aren't you, Ian?
No. I started with cosmic with UFO. Kind of hit my stride with dark. So dark was the first spellbook I ever built. I loved it. So it's based around fear and Houston Batman being able to kind of re-trigger things, right? And then with Seance moved to Dark Earth, which is I love being able to lock down with Humple Dumple and Cement Worm. So I'll probably stick with that for a while and try to build on it, especially with Native coming out and theoretically Earth getting more boosted, getting these fusion auras. So you can have your 2 prisms, your 2 fusions, as well as your aura. And I don't have any possessed aura, but your possessed aura can play off your fusion auras, which is just amazing because they're considered basic auras. That's a huge win from the R&D section. So thank you R&D for that.
Right.
I'll probably stick with Dark Earth for a bit. Unless something amazing happens with native. There's been so many spoilers that I just like I see them like I gotta build that.
Somebody asked in future years, what cryptids and mythology are you excited for MetaZoo to explore? Personally, for me, it would have to be the Sumerian cultures. Like Sumer, things of that, like Mesopotamia, the area around the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, just because where we think like the cradle of civilization started. I'm really excited to see what they do with that lore, however it lines up, whether it's cryptid world or cryptid underground. I'm not sure where it's going to line up.
So real quick, I'm seeing that Lily's in the chat, so I'd like to say thank you for this. Thank you, Lily.
Yes, amazing work, Lily. Thank you so much.
Absolutely amazing. That's awesome. Missing towers. So the flame, that one's kind of in the air, huh? I mean, you've got Texas, you got Florida, you got a lot of areas where that.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? I've had that question up for a minute.
I kind of really, I mean, and I know it would price lock a lot of people out, myself included. I really liked the idea of Alaska and Hawaii potentially having their own towers.
Mm-hmm.
But I understand the logistics behind that. And again, I wouldn't be able to go out to that. So Flame, honestly, if Lightning is going to eventually be in Florida, then I would say Flame is probably going to be in Texas.
That would make sense because Florida does have a lot of thunderstorms and things.
Texas gets more lightning strikes in total. Florida gets more lightning strikes per square mile per capita. Mm-hmm. So technically, Florida is struck by lightning more, even though Texas is struck by lightning more. So that's kind of why I think lightning is going to be eventually Florida. And honestly, Texas would need something, and I don't know where else fire would fit in essence.
Yeah, that's true. Let me see.
I would like to see, hopefully, the towers eventually spread out a little more. Because I don't remember who made the map. Do you, Rob?
I think it was Streamy, if I remember. I think Streamy was the one that made that.
It's very kind of central east.
Mm-hmm.
Almost everything. I think there's one. Yeah, Long Beach is on the west coast.
Spirit
is kind of central east. So hopefully as these settle, I'd like to see them spread out a little more. I love the idea of Hawaii and Alaska because how else are they going to qualify without traveling a long way?
Mm-hmm.
So being able to spread that out, well, digital tower. I did just remember as well, right? There's the mention of the digital tower with the online TCG. So, but yeah, it needs to be spread out a little more.
That's what you got to love about MetaZoo, man. They keep you on your toes, keep you wondering, keep you. That was one of my favorite things about even with Cryptonation 1 when they didn't tell you what the Obnoxious 9 were, right? You had to figure it out. You had to go through it with all kinds of stuff. It's like that with every set. There's always something, little Easter eggs, little things you see. Even in the art, you look in the back, you'll see like a little beastie you never noticed before, and it's just.
I just Cumberland Spaceman. I just realized the other night that Cumberland's GPS location is Grimm's Kingdom. It is the only. I went through every set. I can't look. I'm talking about core sets, but I went through every core set, and there is no other card listed for being from Grimm's Kingdom besides Cumberland Spaceman. You said that of little things that you just still find. I literally just found that like 3 days ago. Oh, wait a minute.
I thought of that early in the room. I'm like, I don't know if am I gonna spoil that if I say that?
Oh no, I have no problem. Like, cause that's honestly how I find a lot of stuff too, is that I'll look at it. Like Chaos Crystal, for example. If I don't know how many people haven't read the Chaos Crystal flavor text, but it clearly says on it, I mean, it says
I love that you can
casters.
just pull it from your. You're saying, "Oh, I'm just going to pull it
Right?
right over." I know exactly.
And it's the Kickstarter one too. It says casters from around the world believe this crystal to be the very essence of the veil itself. So this is literally a piece of the veil when it shattered. That's what most of the Aurifacts from Cryptid Nation 1 are. And like it's just there's just so much lore in all of it. See, I'll drink my soda.
Oh, yeah, I brought water down and I left it way over there.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I ain't getting up. It's too far away.
All right, so we got about like 5 minutes on this thing. Does anybody in the chat?
This
Does
was
anybody got any questions before we call it? It's been an hour and 25 minutes. Anything you guys want to ask Ian? Ask Rob? You know, this was supposed to highlight them a little bit more than anything. You know, they want a little bit more focus on the content creators. So if you guys are, you know, anybody in the chat who is wanting to, you know, become a content creator or, you know, think you have the drive and the passion for it, MetaZoo just made an announcement about it. I mean, start putting some content together, start posting a lot, stay consistent, do a lot of things. And yeah, you never know what can happen. That's what said that to Rob a million times.
Just so everybody knows too, okay? All of my content I make, even including the stream that I'm doing right now, I make with my iPhone 14. So you don't have to have a fancy computer. You don't have to have crazy editing software. I have a $25 mic. Everything I do on my phone. So anyone can make content. And I encourage everyone in this community to do it, because the more of us that make content, the more of us that talk about this game, this lore, this story, the passion that we all have behind it, the more this is going to grow, the more people we're going to be able to get excited, more people we're going to be able to bring into this community. And like we were talking at the beginning, this is the best community that I have been a part of in years and years. So please, like, support each other. Like my whole goal, my whole thing is I always say, lift everyone up, lift the entire community up. And so support everyone, just support everyone, try to help get the word out there and just try to get people excited for what's in store in the future.
Exactly. Yeah. Surround yourself. If you want to be successful, surround yourself with like-minded people you enjoy creating content with, bouncing ideas, talking about your failures and what didn't work so you can adjust and help them adjust. So, you know, within my personal content creator group, we have Turmentic, Harley, I talk to on the regular, Caster MJ and Deadly that I do the podcast with. So just find a group of people that you enjoy talking to and creating content with. And that's going to make you want to succeed and help with any burnout or feelings of, you know, just kind of getting down about something not working the way you want it to. And you can always reach out to me, Cryptid Nation News, same in the Discord. If you have any questions about content creation, how to get started, how I'm doing anything, I'm an open book.
The book was, somebody asked in chat actually, like if the book was a green screen or if it was real, and to pull the book off. So that's why I pulled him. And of course, I turn back and it's like, boom, look at me. I'm 37 years old and here's the Animorph book that's directly behind me.
Dude, I saw that and I was obsessed with Animorphs. I went from Goosebumps to Fear Street to freaking Animorphs, and just that I saw that and I haven't even seen that name in so long. It just that
K.A. Applegate wrote the end of that series for us as young adults, because like the last 6 books of that series is brutal. Brutal. But yeah, I didn't mean to take it away. Like, yeah, that's just somebody wanted to make sure it was a real bookcase.
Oh no, that's awesome. All right. Well, yeah, we're gonna probably start making this a regular thing, you know, switch, you know, it's always cool to just sit back and talk about this stuff, and just even, yeah, I like just watching the chat, to be honest, and just seeing what you guys are saying, man. It's awesome. It's just, it just generates ideas to continue talking and things like that. And it's so natural. And again, and I think it's already been, said once, but the giving, the giving and the friendliness, the willing to help, all of this stuff within the MetaZoo community is crazy. It's, I don't know, it's seeing like other TCG communities become very toxic and very it's and then you get into MetaZoo and it's such a breath of fresh air, and it's almost like everybody has like almost similar goals but different goals at the same time, but everybody has this same thing that they like. It reminds me of the military. It reminds me of like this camaraderie because you all have similarities and you all have one thing in mind, and it definitely brings a lot of people together, man. And I
feel like everything we do is to use the phrase, bring the longevity of the franchise. This is something that we care about. This is something that we have invested time into because we believe it will be successful, and it will be. And all we're doing right now is, and I will speak, I guess, for every content creator that creates MetaZoo content. All we're doing is we're just trying to engage and excite people and show them this beautiful thing that they can fall in love with, because I'm obsessed with, I'm obsessed with the lore of this show, of this game. I'm obsessed with learning about the new cryptids and the new beasties that they introduced, because again, I didn't know that much about it up until about a year ago. And there's something really, really awesome about explaining this game to somebody for the first time. And like I've broken it down to where I have because of working at Super Galactic, I have a sales pitch on how to actually like pitch the game to somebody. And of course it's more lore centric, and it goes 1,000 years ago there was a veil put in place that separated humans from magic. That veil was broken in 2021, and all of that magic infused itself back into humanity. Cryptids started to appear, people started turning into cryptids, but the big takeaway was everyone was able to cast magic. It jumps 10 years into the future. It is now 2031. The United States is now known as Cryptid Nation. It's a hodgepodge of what it once was. Any big city is protected by a veil itself or doesn't exist. The main story follows Sam Sinclair and company as he makes his way through Cryptid Nation. And that's how I present the MetaZoo to people. I know some people do the cards. Some people actually are like, oh, check out this or check out that. I present it as, hey, look at these characters. Make sure you pay attention to who they are as you explore what all of it is. I don't remember what my train of thought was because I started getting on with it. I'm sorry.
No, we're all yes.
Yeah, I know, right? I was like, yeah, I'm just. I don't even know where I was going for that. But somebody asked though what beastie actually we would want to try. I'm gonna have to just say Oklahoma octopus because it's the only one that's named in the actual comic. There's a stall in Unity City that's selling Oklahoma octopus tentacles. So I would totally try that, to be honest with you.
For me, Single Sam, because it's the only sample I have, and I have bet eating that sample on 3 or 4 different things, and one of these times I'm going to be wrong.
No, you better not eat that. No, you better not eat that. I will draw you another sample, and you eat that one.
It'll happen.
Oh my God!
I might as well have to do that. There you go. But hey, man, this was a blast. I can tell you guys,
awesome.
Full transparency, the nerves were racing prior to hitting live, and now it's just absolutely natural. No nerves, no nothing. And
we had to talk about ourselves. It's terrifying. It's
yeah.
so easy to talk. It's so easy to talk about MetaZoo. You asked something about me, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I know, man. But hey, yeah. I mean, I don't know if you have anything you want to close with.
Yeah.
But this was a great time, man.
Before we drop off, just like to wish happy birthday to D the Storyteller and Afton over the last week. So those are 2 birthdays within MetaZoo that happened a few days ago. It wasn't announced, but I'm a bit of an archive, and it was announced last year.
It's true. It's true. I'll be like, hey, Ian, can you send me that picture from 3 months ago from that very vague announcement? He's like, oh, yeah, this one here.
Yep, here you go.
I'm like, oh, appreciate it. Thank you.
It's my wallpaper.
Right.
Hey, thanks for all the nice comments, guys. The chat was amazing, too. And I'm hoping on the next one, we have all you guys back in here again, man. We want to keep this thing going. Again, if you guys have ideas for content, put it out. Just do it. Every time you put something out, you're going to get a little bit better at it next time.
Mm-hmm.
You think of different ideas, and the more people that you surround yourself with, like with other content creators, you learn different ideas and you get little tips and things. And the thing is I've noticed that a lot of these, the different content creators, if you went to Rob or Ian with anything and asked them, how do I do this, or how should I tweak that? Or sorry, your guys' inboxes are going to get hit up for that one.
Good. Good.
But I'm sure that they would absolutely help you guys out. So same thing with me. If you have any questions about MetaZoo, anything, I'm a MetaZoo partner. Any advice you guys need. And if it's a question that I don't have the answer to, I will find the answer out for you. So I just love the community aspect. I love people. I love talking with people. Anybody who's ever had a conversation with me can tell you it was probably for a few hours. It wasn't just a 5-minute conversation.
It was.
So, and I'm a talker. So.
I'm like, dude, 3-hour difference. It's 2 a.m. I got to go to bed. Like, oh, it's only 11 o'clock my time, man. We got time. Like, okay.
It's funny because my wife said bedtime. I'm like, almost done.
But yeah, no, 100% have to do this again. I kind of feel like we honestly could have talked more as well too. But yeah, 100%. Thank you, Mike, for hosting this. Thank you, Ann, for coming on. This was a blast. Thank you. Huge shout out to Andy and all of MetaZoo for the spoiler, Winnow Legalis.
I'll put it up again real quick.
Yeah,
all MetaZoo staff.
Like, thank you. Everyone that popped in. I know I saw D, I saw Poncho, I saw Lily, like everyone, and thank you. I mean, thank you. You guys are amazing. The reason why we make what we make and we do what we do is because you guys actually watch it and you enjoy it. So thank you for supporting us.
Very awesome. All right, guys. Well,
what he said.
Yeah, I had to do the same thing.
right there.
This way.
Wonder Twin. All right, done. We're done. It's past midnight.
See you guys. Have a good one.
Have a good night.
Have a good night, guys.